Do you know if all of the kangaroos from Australia invaded Uruguay, each Uruguayan would have to fight 14 kangaroos on his own to beat them?
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Just 14-1 imbalance. Go on, you can start.
Hello, Bioradori, drinkers galore, people who are mad for cans and pints and everything beer. We're here for your weekly dose of the Snugcast, bit of shy talk, as you've just been privy to as we started to record, with that fascinating fun fact by this week's guest, Snugcast, regular Snugcast contributor irregularly, Ian Walsh. Ian, how are you getting on, kid? How are the kangaroos?
Not too bad. Not too bad. Well, hopefully, on your Uruguayan's point of view, I suppose they hope there's no fucking kangaroos, because they'd be flogged around the place. But yeah, tipping away. Yourself?
Oh, not too bad, thanks. Happy to be sitting here over Friday night drinking an absolute smashing can of beer. I have another great can lined up, and looking forward to getting into that. Owen, you're with us as always. How's the form?
I'm good, yeah. Did you know that kangaroos are strictly herbivores, right? But that they actually don't produce much methane at all compared to cows, like, you know.
So what you're saying is
more kangaroos, less cows.
Yeah.
So basically, for the environment, we need to get used to eating kangaroos.
Yeah.
Eat kangaroos.
Well, they do in Australia. They've had, like, if you watch MasterChef Australia, they've had kangaroo.
That's just I'm a celebrity.
No, that's the kangaroo's bollocks.
They kind of call them, don't they? In Australia, they're rampant, like, aren't they? The kangaroos, like.
Yeah, 47 million of them.
That's a pretty accurate figure, I'd imagine, given some of the facts that were thrown out just as we started to record.
Reading about it earlier.
But we're here on a Friday night, coming in your ears sometime over the weekend, from the weekend onwards, and I have to say, we've got a kind of funny topic lined up for tonight. So it's very much related to what we're drinking and how we got there and how we came about drinking it. So I'm gonna kick off straight away before we end up spending the whole episode talking about marsupials from the Southern Hemisphere. I'm going to go to you first, Ian. What are you drinking tonight?
I'm starting off with Golden Wonder, watermelon wheat beer from 3D City Brewery in Limerick. It's actually beautiful, 4.1%. Very easy to drink. Could easily see myself at home alone, because that's all we can do these days, drinking 4, 5, 6 of these on a Friday night talking shite.
But even more importantly, you could see yourself towards the end of the summer, if all things go right, drinking 4 or 5 pints of them in Mother Mac's bar in Limerick.
Yeah, if I ever decide to go to Limerick, that is.
He'll promote Limerick beer, but he won't promote Limerick pubs. Brave tactic from the staunch Corkman there. Owen, what are you drinking tonight?
I am on the White Hag and the Dark Druid series. So this is their kind of series of pastry stouts, which Ian is drinking, obviously. But I am on the chocolate coconut pastry stout. And yeah, it's like a pint of Bounty, so it is. It's quality. It's quality street.
So you
I just mix up all the analogies.
How have you managed to cram 4 terrible analogies into one? I mean, the thing here is, like, you're trying to sell a beer and you're calling it a pint of Bounty. There's going to be about 15% of the population that are going to have this beer, and the rest of the population are going to have to not ever drink it. But you're a Bounty man yourself, so by the sounds of it.
Oh yeah, I love the Bounties, but I love this stout more. Yeah, it's really nice. I don't know. Yeah, it is kind of like people don't like coconut, really, isn't it? Like, it's not really the Bounty thing I'm getting caught up here on. It's like a lot of people just don't like coconut. But yeah, so it's like a really strong smell of coconut off initially. But yeah, 5.5% comes in one of those little stubby cans, which I think are kind of perfect for those kind of desserty stouts, you know, because you don't end up drinking a pile of it. But then, like, I have a second can of it, so I'm just gonna fuck that over immediately.
But you love those stubby cans. You love them little 300 millers, the 330 millers.
Yeah, no, I do. Yeah, they're nice. Keep it kind of keep the beer fresh, like, you know. I always love that, you know, when you're going like when you're in Spain or somewhere and they just give you little glasses of beer, you know, and you just end up like piling, like you just keep getting like loads and loads of them, like just so good. They're so cheap like that. You just end up like, I don't know, like €1 for a glass of beer or something, and you just get loads. But the beer is so fresh because they're just like pouring it, you know. And as well, I think as well in Spain as well, because it's so hot that like beer go hot if you had a big pints the whole time. Like you just have a warm pint halfway through, whereas like just get a little glass each time.
Yeah,
ooh, baby.
When it's €1 a glass, you're still saving money on the Temple Bar prices. So
definitely, yeah.
That's the moment you said that about the glass in the hot climate, though, I went straight to the freshness of it, like the cold pour, which is obviously the big advantage for a glass of beer over there. Not so much here because it's cold anyway, so you know, pints all the way.
Oh, stop! Sure, I had this can out in the car like this morning, and it was perfection. Like,
when you say you had the can in the car this morning, you mean?
I would like to clarify, if the Nordi are listening, I was not drinking and driving.
I think what you meant to say was
resting in my car.
Yeah, I think you left the can in the car overnight, wasn't it?
Yes, that is the correct statement. Yeah.
Perfect. And actually, Ian, I'm going to come back to you because as Owen was describing his dessert pastry stout series from the White Hag, his coconut one, you, after absolutely gulping your pint of golden wheat beer,
Golden Wonder. It's a play on words with Golden Wonder, the potatoes, I think.
Oh.
And the Limerick slur gowl. You poured your own pastry stout there from the White Hag from the same series.
Yeah, the same series, the chocolate orange pastry. So there's some absolute smell of orange off it. I'll do a live reaction to my first taste. Geez, like a pint of Bounty. No, it's like
that's quality street, mate.
Very nice. It's very nice. It's like, I wouldn't say it's like terry chocolate orange. Well, it's like, you know, when you get it. Have you ever had orange hot chocolate?
Oh yeah.
It's kind of like that, but obviously not hot.
Yeah, I actually had 2 cans of those on Christmas Eve, and the way I described it to my father-in-law was, it is like, do you know the Lindt chocolate, orange chocolate bars?
Yeah, smoother than the terry chocolate orange.
Yeah, kind of creamier. So a nice can. Myself, I'm on a limited edition beer. Third barrel, the Break from the Haze, New Zealand Bruce topped West Coast IPA. Now, this is a big beer, 8.5%. It's let me tell you, the punch from it is mighty. It's a lovely smelling beer. It's like real piney, freshy, that real fresh. I suppose it's almost like a sprucey kind of smell to it, you know. And when you taste it, then it's got that kind of grapefruity, almost like grapey taste up front, and then there's a lovely, like, kind of malty bitter, small little bitter finish. But trust me, it's not hazy, obviously, because it's like, the name of it is Break from the Haze. It's like, do you remember that cryo the cryo IPA that Blaxican Sale brought out there, that I was drinking pints of it in Sissy Young's there a couple of years ago when we were down in Cork.
Oh yeah.
It is very, very similar kind of texture and taste to that particular point. It reminded me of that, but just like double the ABV and double the punch. So an absolute great beer. Like I've got Wicklow Wolf's Mammoth IPA to move on to after this, which 6.2%. So the second half of this podcast could go fucking anywhere, lads.
What percent is that?
So this one, the break from the haze is 8.5%. And it's a 500 ml can as well. Like, so it's an absolute belter of a beer. Like one can equals 3.3 standard drinks in Ireland. So
that's what you
like
want.
a pint of wine.
Oh, like an upgrade on a pint of wine.
Yeah.
But an absolute fantastic beer. I'm really enjoying it. But I am nursing it a bit because I'm quite afraid that if I scull it, I will not see beyond whenever ACAS put in a random ad break at some point, because we haven't bothered to flag it for them. So apologies if an ad break comes in at any random moment. It's because I've drank my break from the haze too quickly. But lads, we were actually on. We arrived in on Tuesday. Usually we take a trip on Thursday, but I think on Tuesday we just decided we wanted to go and have a nosy into the Plint and Worldwide Wines, which has become a staple of the podcast since the pubs have been closed. We kind of went for a wander in, as listeners who've listened to us throughout this pandemic will know well. The old 5 for 16 deal is something that we were great fans of and big supporters of, and it was a great little mixer deal where you could pick 5 cans from 5 different breweries. You could pick 2 and 3 of the same thing to try and sort yourself out for 2 different nights. Loads of options, really good value, and not something that you could take the piss with, because like you're not going to spend 16 euros a day on 5 cans. So we went in to realize and be a bit surprised at the fact that the 5 for 16 was gone. Now, of course, this is because the in Ireland, what came in recently, the Public Health Alcohol Act of 2018, part of the phased rollout of that now is that you can no longer have loyalty points earned or redeemed on alcohol, and also multi-buy drinks have been shelved, to use the Irish Times phrase. So you can't have discounts on multi-buy, multi-pack purchases of alcohol, but discounts on individual bottles are allowed. So what was your take on being, I suppose, confronted with an offerless Plint?
I was shocked and appalled at the situation. I know, like it just kind of, it really annoyed me, like really just going into the place, like this is one thing that we go in like every week and we buy like our 5 cans. Sometimes we don't buy the 5 cans because we have enough cans at home, like, so we might just go in and get 1 or 2 cans. We're just going to have a look, see if there's anything around, like, but like, yeah, sometimes we do go in and we get the 5 cans for 16 euro. And it is that thing of going in, having a look, mixing and matching breweries, and like just like really enjoying like different tastes and stuff. And like, I just thought that like this is so fucking petty for a like an off license not to be able to offer like these deals on like just being able to mix and match cans. Like it's just so silly. Like the whole thing about this this act is to reduce the normal, like one of the statements in it is to reduce the normality of like adding a bottle of wine or like topping up your weekly shop with alcohol, to try and like prevent the normalization of the addition of alcohol to your weekly shop, like, so okay, I do get it. I do get where they're trying to come from. They're trying to reduce alcohol or reduce the consumption of alcohol in Ireland, right? And I do get it in it, like using that terminology. I do get it. I do get the whole thing of them saying, say you're if you get spend 50 euro in Tesco and get 10 euro off, then and if you've 49 or 45 euro shop worth of shop in your basket already, and you go, oh sure, I'll just throw in a bottle of wine here now and that'll bring me up past the 50, right? So I do get where they're trying to come from that, and yes, do ban that, but like this thing of like just banning these like these you know, the 5 cans for €16 is scandalous. Like what they're trying to do is they're trying to avoid these multi-buy deals that the supermarkets are doing. Say like buy like we know all the big supermarkets do the 6 bottles for €50. Like they're always at it. 6 bottles of wine for €50. They're always at it at all times, like, you know. And normally now, like, I know from experience between like people I know, when they are buying that 6-pack, it's normally around Christmas time that they're getting it, and they're stocking up. They're not going home to drink the fucking 6 bottles of wine at once, you know. So like, I don't know. It just come in kind of like very oddly for me, like, and yeah, that the thing with the plinth and stuff, like, I haven't explored it any further, but like a lot of the places, a lot of the off license I've been, like, they might do brewery specific ones, so they might go buy 3 Wicklow Wolves for like €9, or buy you know 4. Like it used to be like, say, 4 Brewdog for a tenner, the stubby cans or whatever, or 4 Crafty Hopster for a tenner, like, you know. And now, like, it's just gone. And then there's the other side of it as well, where there's the fact that you're still allowed buy multi-packs of things. So say if something comes in a pack, so the classic one when we were in college, Darren, was the 6 cans of Dutch Gold for €4, where they were in fucking a 6-pack like together. Like, that still seems to be allowable under this legislation. Like, you know, I think obviously the minimum pricing stuff that comes in is going to be, but like if you buy like a pack of stuff, like if something is within a box, then they are allowed to discount on it, like, you know. So all it's doing is it's going against you being able to kind of pick and choose between different breweries, like, you know. So I don't know, either go all in or or not, like.
Yeah, I suppose I have a couple of thoughts on that before I get into it. Ian, I suppose a couple of aspects to this that have been brought in recently. This is after in November they brought in those like prison gates to the office section of super.
Yeah, it's fucking strange.
Yeah, what do you, first of all, I suppose the loyalty points, if you have anything to add on that. I personally don't, it doesn't affect me, so I'm not too, I'm like, okay, fair enough with that, but
yeah, like the loyalty
points
points you'd fucking get over, like you said, you know. So who really gives a shit about their loyalty points anyway? Like, if at the end of the day, like, the amount of money you spend in a supermarket, it wouldn't be necessarily on drink anyway, so you wouldn't be looking for the loyalty points anyway. But like, is there not going to be loopholes around this for, like, it seems to be mostly kind of wine and stuff. Like, say now those like buy 6 bottles for €50, normally the bottle of wine might be a tenner bottle. Will they not just like reduce the price to spend $8.50 or something, so you're going to have your 6 bottles for a tenner as well? And like, because if they reduce the price in individual bottles, it's allowed, but they're not allowed to do it if it's on a multi basis.
Yeah, so the thing with that there is what when we were in Worldwide Wines on Tuesday, and we spoke to one of the sales assistants in Worldwide Wines about it, and just to try and gauge her kind of take on it. She was saying that basically they can do that, but it has to be all the same bottle of wine in the 6 bottle pack. So you can't say reduce the individual price of 6 different bottles of wine and then sell that as a 6 bottles to someone in a box, you know. So I'm not sure what way that'll work. I'm not sure about the ins and outs of it. And the way from talking to the off licenses, I'm not sure they know themselves what's going to be allowed and what's not going to be allowed.
But do you know, like, we said no 20 cans of Guinness, you're still allowed to sell that for whatever price you want.
Yeah. So basically, like, you know, when you go into Tesco and you see, like you say, a crate of Guinness or 20 bottles of Miller, so that's
just the multi buy of individual bottles is not allowed to be discounted.
Yeah. Which to me brings up quite a serious issue. If the purpose of this is to target problem drinking and to reduce the incidence of problem drinking. For me, it doesn't address this at all, because the person who is suffering from alcohol dependency is not going in and picking out 5 different beers from Wicklow Wolf, Yellow Belly, and Dead Centre, for example, and saying, "Oh, I'll spend €16 on those." That person is looking for, as you said, Owen, the little 6-pack of Coors, or the 6-pack of Miller, or whatever it might be, or Devil's Bait, even like that. That's like a tenner. You know what I mean, or €8. And that's not dealt with in this piece of legislation. That's not going to change anything. So for me, I'm a bit kind of like, what you've done there is you've not made it any more difficult on Diageo or Molson Coors to sell this stuff at discounted prices still and target vulnerable people who have dependency. But what you have done is you've made it incredibly difficult now for small independent brewers to sell their beers at competitive prices, and grow a bigger share of the market. And also too, if they do want to do that, so we saw that Yellow Belly had up on their social media during the week, they were doing, I think it was 4 packs of Into the Breach, sold as an individual pack. But even at that, I think it was four cans for €33. No, 6 cans for €33 it was, wasn't it? But then like those cans are $5.50 for an individual can anyway in Worldwide Wines. So it's almost like, if you're going to force them into the multi-pack together, first of all, you're just, all you're doing is restricting consumers from having more choice. But also as well, you're actually going to incur a greater cost on small independent brewers whose margins are an awful lot finer than Diageo and Molson Coors and those kind of people, because they're going to have to invest in more packaging costs, more distribution costs, because they're going to have to put them all into these packs together, which is going to cost money, and it's going to, I suppose, cause more logistical problems for them too. So all you've done basically is made it slightly more inconvenient on the big guys, and just added cost and inconvenience, a significant inconvenience to the smaller guys.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I just again, just to echo that point, that like all you're doing is you're preventing the breweries, because that's the thing that like we do. This is our habit, is that we go in and we mix and match, and like you're not going in and you're not going, I want 4 cans of like your Mammoth IPA or whatever, because it's going to kill you. Do you know what I mean? So what you're actually doing is you're going on and you're having your third barrel, you're having your Wicklow Wolf Mammoth, you're having the White Hag, you're mixing and matching, and like it's going to make it, not that it's going to make it harder, because we'll obviously still will do it, but it's just, I don't know, it just like gets rid of the fairness amongst the breweries to like actually be competitive and like offer their own, because that's the thing. It's basically, you're trying to compete with someone who's buying a 6-pack of Heineken or whatever, that you can come along and go, okay, we can offer you like a 6-pack or the 5, let's say, that we're in Worldwide Wines for a price that is going to be, above the 6-pack, but it's going to be, a standard price, like €15, and you can go mix and match. And now, will it not be much nicer for you to have these 5 lovely cans from different breweries around the country, rather than you getting a 6-pack of Heineken,
Yeah.
And that's all you're disincentivizing,
We're in a privileged position as well, because to be fair, we have good steady jobs with good pay. So for us, if we want a couple of cans, we're in a privileged position that we can afford to go in and say, you know what, this limited edition third barrel is $5.50 for a can, but I can afford to buy it. So there is privilege associated with that. For independent brewers to reach out to people, and I want to address this point with Ian, because just to say congratulations to Ian, you recently got your chartered accountancy exams passed, so you got a pay rise, you got a bump in pay as well, so you've gone to being the student accountant on low pay to getting up onto the big bucks now. So the thing there is, if you want to incentivize, and and it comes back to this problematic relationship with alcohol that Ireland has. I don't see how it addresses this at all. I mean, Alcohol Action Ireland said in their statement that the regulations will act as a small impediment. Like, if you really want to tackle alcohol dependency and problem drinking, you don't want small impediments on small scale brewing. You know, what you want there is education and investment in education and investment into responsible drinking and responsible drinking habits. But I suppose in order for someone to be more into drinking 1 or 2 cans of Mammoth IPA instead of drinking 20 bottles of Miller, so I suppose, Ian, like, the mindset that you want to instill into a young person is, you know, who like you were up until recently, not on not in a position where you could afford to splash out in like 6-7 euro cans of beer, or like, you know, a massive luxury. Like, the difference between being in that position versus, like, you know, I either buy the 20 box of Miller or I don't buy any beer at all. You know what I mean? What you make of that assessment?
Like, if the whole point of the legislation is to get alcohol consumption down, then they're targeting like the wrong areas, because like the people who depend on alcohol, they're not going to fucking be impacted by lowering, like, not having the multi-buy, because they're still going to be able to get their 6 cans for the same price as they always would. It's like when I was in college, like, do you think I've been looked at the? But do you think I would have looked at the plinth going past? No, it's straight down the back to the fucking cheapest cans you can buy in Europe. Off out. That's like the same thing is going to happen. So I don't understand how it's going to. They say it's to lower it from 11 liters to 9 liters per capita alcohol consumption. I don't know if that's over the year or what, but or is it per week? But like,
for a day,
I just don't understand how it's going to do that, because like, you're going to take away people wanting to like go to the plinth and buy like their 5 cans for 16. They're like, they're not going to buy 5 cans for 30 euro, or, you know, they're going to go down the back and they're going to get their cans of Foster's, their cans of Dutch Gold for 6 cans for 10 or 6 cans for 8 or 9 euro. So like, I just don't understand how it's going to take people alcohol consumption down at all. If anything, it might increase it, because instead of going to the off license and buying 3 of your craft, you might buy 6 cans of ice.
But like, I don't know, like, you know, we've all been in an off license and we've all seen the alcoholic in there it's, you know, coming out fucking bottle of vodka, like, just like the cheapest bottle of vodka that they can get off the back of the shelf, like, and just heading out, like, you know, straight out the door.
Yeah.
You know, like, no, like, it's trying to tackle that, and like let's not knock the whole act, because there is some good in it, right? So like last November, in November 2019. Sorry, I forgot that 2020 existed. Alcohol advertising. Alcohol advertising was banned at bus stops within 200 meters of all schools and during certain films at cinemas. So like, it, like, that is like, there are good measures there of like actually trying to like reduce the like tendency for like younger kids and stuff to go at it hard, like, you know, but like, this bit of legislation just doesn't make any sense to me at all, like, you know.
Yeah.
And also, like, what do you make of these barrier yolks? Like, I don't get them at all, like.
So
I actually didn't realize it was part of legislation. I just thought that fucking people are after losing their minds, to be honest.
Yeah. So there's a place up in Nace. It's called Swans. So it's a little kind of like, it's kind of like nearly like a mini Arcane store. So it's this kind of like fancy, like, it has a fancy deli in it. Like, they do they do fresh orange juice and stuff there. They have the little coffee stalls, and they have all the kind of like local artisan-y foods and stuff like that. And then they also have like a shelving unit of wines and stuff there, right? And I actually think there's some. I think you can actually get a carafe of wine, and you can like pour, bring a bottle and pour a carafe of wine or whatever from a barrel, and go back or whatever, right? But now they have like in front of these shelves. Now the shop is like small. It's like a one-way system around the place, and it is small. But in front of that shelving unit now, they have like these like little like barriers, like hip high barriers that are going around it. And like they have to like I've seen them like a handwritten sign on the side of the thing being like, you can enter these barriers at any time, because it looks like someone has just cordoned off the place, like that they're doing maintenance work or something on it. Like it looks shocking, but like there's not much you can do with that, like, but because it's in legislation now, like they've taken out like walking floor space out of the shop as well, like. So
yeah, I think these barriers are again more harmful than good. All they're doing is stigmatizing people from who are trying to purchase alcohol. I also think as well, like, the problem with these barriers and stuff like that is it's not a constructive way to approach problematic drinking or a problematic relationship that our society has with alcohol. It does nothing to do that. Like I said, it just stigmatizes, and I think it ties into this like almost this like, the classic Irish Catholic guilt, like, trying to shame people for buying a few cans or for buying an old bottle of whiskey. Like, how dare I buy my how dare I go, when I'm going to visit my grandparents now after the lockdown for the first time, how dare I bring my granddad now a bottle of whiskey? Like, I have to go through these prison gates of hell first, like,
yeah.
It's complete ridiculous. Like, the thing there is, right, if you want to reduce problematic drinking, are you going to do it by having a fucking barrier that a child can push open? No, you're not going to do it. Like, that's not, somebody who is in alcohol dependency is not going to see that barrier and think that's I'm not. What they're going to do is they're going to feel an even greater sense of shame for drinking, and it's going to put them deeper into a spiral and actually make their mental health worse, make their dependency worse because of this like fucking mental stigma that's going to go through their mind. I think as well, it brings me on to like the minimum unit pricing. Minimum unit pricing hasn't come in yet, but it is part of the legislation. I saw an interview with Simon Harris from around then on. I think it was around the same time, November 2019, when they were announcing the timeline for the implementation of the Act. And Simon Harris was Minister for Health at the time. And obviously it's a Public Health Act, so it comes under the Department of Health's remit. So
also, Simon Harris not still Health Minister, no?
No. But also,
he kind of acts like it, though.
Sometimes he does, yeah. He does.
Fucking Humpty Dumpty,
He doesn't bother with higher education that much.
No.
He still does press conferences about vaccines, even though it's nothing to do with him. But I was going to say, maybe us as employees in the Department of Health, we might give a sway a bit. I doubt it. But what I was going to say is, like, he did an interview where he said minimum unit pricing will be coming in around the same time it will be coming in Northern Ireland, and it is on the time scale there as well. I have a couple of things to say about minimum unit pricing. The first one is, I reckon the Irish government here would have it in already, only for the fact that they're terrified that if they bring it in before Northern Ireland, the entirety of the country will be going to Newry for cans every weekend.
Yeah.
I think that's nailed on. The other thing I'd say is, like, minimum unit pricing is not going to help dependency, help people who are in dependency. All it's going to do is make them have to cut more stuff out of their life, because they are going to spend the money on the alcohol. All it's going
drive up crime too.
But that's what I'm saying, is they're going to resort to crime, or else they're going to resort to self-deprecation in terms of self-deprivation, in terms of, like, they're going to buy alcohol instead of food, or they're going to buy alcohol instead of paying for shelter, and it's going to create even more societal problems. It's not a progressive solution, and I think it's a bit mad for, like, this, like I said, these stigmatizing gates to alcohol purchasing in supermarkets to come in, along with stuff like minimum unit pricing, because again, it doesn't deal with the issue. Like we have under-resourced addiction services here in Ireland. We spend 6% of our health budget on mental health, when the EU average is above 10%. So for me, I don't see how you can say that this act is going to be successful in tackling Irish society's relationship with alcohol and making it any better and improve it. It might be well intentioned, and as you say, there might be good things in it. But for as far as I'm concerned, I think actually, no matter how well intentioned it is going to, over a prolonged period of time, going to have a negative impact on our relationship with alcohol, and it's actually going to make people who unfortunately fall into dependency for a variety of reasons. It's going to make their situation worse as opposed to helping them.
Yeah, maybe so. Yeah. I'm gonna put a hot take out there now, right? I'm gonna say that when they introduce this minimum unit pricing, they're going to match the price of a pint of Guinness to whatever the unit of a pint of Guinness is, to whatever the minimum pricing of a unit is going to be.
It's going to be 10 cents per gram of alcohol.
10 cents per gram of alcohol. I don't know. I really don't know what that means.
I think it's 10 cents per 10 mils, maybe.
Of what percent? What's that like?
I'd say it's like a 330 ml can will be 330. I'd say that's.
Oh right, okay.
That's how I take it, but I don't know. That could be off. I don't know, to be honest.
But that would only correlate if it's a 1%er? So does that?
Just in the act, it says the minimum price per gram of alcohol for the purposes of that shall be 10 cents. And then there's an equation: A by B equals C. So A is the minimum price per gram of alcohol, B is the quantity in grams of alcohol contained in the alcohol product, and C is the minimum price of the alcohol expressed in euro and cents.
Please, any mathematicians, please write in your answers to the snowcast@gmail.com.
We're not going to do the sums at time of recording.
No.
We'll address this issue again when minimum unit pricing actually does come in. But yeah, I don't see how that's going to solve any problems. I think it's just going to create more acute problems. And Jesus, our hospitals, the last thing our hospitals need is people who are in alcohol dependency run into acute crises. But I think like we've spoken a good bit there on, I suppose, negative things that are coming into our drinking lives.
I want to bring back to the gates. I want to bring back to the gates of hell, right?
Go on.
So have you ever noticed as well that like the gates into it, right? They swing like they swing like there's been a bowl set out like at a party, you know? They're fucking they're fucking back and forth, right? But anyway, right? Them yokes, right? Do you also know, right, that like oftentimes there is like a shelf just inside those inside the gates, like, right? And like people be like running through them like they have an emergency in ER or something, you know, like the trolleys to be smashing them. Like I'd say, like, not to put thoughts in anyone's head, but I'd say we could get an awful claim on our hands, you know, bending down to get the bottom shelf bottle of whiskey there, like, and then have your mother or someone come through and beat you.
I'm really looking forward to like this being played back in a small claims court as evidence against Owen.
Counter food.
You know what's going to happen?
Premeditated? What do you mean? It's never premeditated.
Some distant relative of Owen in like Cambodia is going to have like something happen to them, and then this evidence is going to get them jailed for fraud. But your fourth cousin 3 times removed said this on a podcast a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, look, some of them are actually really, really bad. I think the way our King stores have done it is really, really good. They've got this like kind of perspex glass that's see-through kind of the top half, and it's like automatic opening doors. That's less prisony and more futuristic, spaceship.
Yeah, no, that's nice. All right, lads, I have a stout update as well. I've gone on to the White Hag, the Dark Druid salted caramel pastry stout. And
I didn't have that in my off license.
It is good. It is It's nice and sweet. I think are they all the same percentage? They're all 5.5%, I think.
Yeah, the orange is 5.5 anyway.
Yeah, and it's nice, very sweet.
So
But it's nice. They're exactly what you want. Like, you know, they're all the ones I've tasted so far, and actually I had that chocolate orange one as well. But they're all like, I like, this is what I wanted to taste like, and it just exactly tastes like what you want it to taste like.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, Owen, and brought it up, because I thought like a nice segue from our topic, or our first topic there in the Public Health Alcohol 2018 Act, onto what we're going to talk about after the break is really good. I'm really intrigued to get into the concept of pastry stouts, because, you know, we've, thinking back to like the Stout and Porter weekend that they had in Grady's Yard a couple of years ago, when it was a lot of chocolate and coffee stouts, vanilla stouts, nitro stouts, and pastry stouts. There wasn't really many of them around. It seems to be a fairly new phenomenon to the last year or so of pastry stouts. I suppose, what you're obviously a big fan of them.
Yeah. I'm actually getting into kind of like dessert stouts and stuff. I don't know. I just think they're kind of brand, like, kind of like, not that they're brand new on the scene, like, but there definitely has been an explosion of them in the last while, like, and I don't know. They're so goddamn tasty.
Ian, as an avid Guinness drinker,
yes.
What's your take on the diverging stout scene in Ireland at the moment?
Well, I won't say as much experience as you do, but like the chocolate orange pastries out there now was beautiful, but like you couldn't sit down for a day and drink it, because you'd have a belly like fucking, I don't know, Danny DeVito after fucking 3 or 4 of them. So, like, they're lovely. I'd say they're more of dessert. They're like, you have them after your dinner, and they're just like, want something to put you to bed kind of thing. Or if you're at home now, if it's Friday night, sitting down watching an old rom-com, I'd say a few dessert stouts there now, pastry stouts, beautiful.
To take your mind off watching a rom-com.
Yeah. Don't you talk about Ryan Gosling like that?
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed the concept of that kind of dessert stout, that kind of, you know, one drink, just one settler after the dinner, that kind of like, you know, I'm drinking this for the taste and the experience, and it's just going to be the one can or the 2 cans. Like, I'm big into that, and I think you're right on in terms of the stubby can, like that little 330 miller is the perfect size for that kind of stout. But hopefully if we actually bother to edit this properly, you'll hear an ad next. Hopefully it's not for the British Army. If it is, fast forward 30 seconds. And when we come back, I'm going to talk about Wicklow Wolf's Mammoth IPA.
Haven't been there in a while, actually. Have you had the chipper burger there now?
And we're back after a quick break there, just to empty the bladders and fill the glasses. And I have filled my glass with Wicklow Wolf's Mammoth IPA. It's their 6.2% IPA. I'm surprised this has never featured on a podcast before, which I'm surprised, because it's been out since 2019 and is a smashing beer. What I love about Wicklow Wolf's new cans that they have since last year, I think, is this like Wicklow Wolf, independent by nature. It always reminds me of Alan in The Hangover, that lone wolf speech he gave up on the roof, and about the wolf pack. Speaking of wolf packs, you can now get your wolf pack of Mammoth IPA, which is allowable to have discounts, not like the rest of the beer. But it's a lovely, like, kind of floral, citrusy IPA. Like, compared to that, the break from the haze that I had from Third Barrel, which is very much a big hitter. Like, you know, you're drinking 8.5% and you're nursing it, but it's a fucking lovely explosion of flavor. This Mammoth IPA is like big on flavor, but super drinkable. So you're very much like, oh, I've just sculled a can of this and I forgot it's 6.2%, and now I'm in my neighbour's garden in my jocks and it's snowing outside.
Actually, DJ, right, I know we're going to move on, right? I know we are going to move on, but
Do we have to?
But I just wanted to ask a quick question, right? And I know you said it about Yellow Belly doing the Into the Breach, their 6-pack, right? But do you see breweries now doing more like mix packs, and like the fact that then they have a pack, they can charge whatever they want for it?
But I think from the discussion we had the other day in Worldwide Wines, they can only apply the discount if the contents of the pack are all the same. So like a 6-pack of Mammoth IPA could be discounted, but a 6-pack of Wicklow Wolves like Mammoth IPA and Elevation Pale Ale and Arcadia Lager, I think like if you two of each of those, from what I was on my understanding from our discussion in Worldwide Wines, that wouldn't be discountable.
Yeah, no, so sorry. That discount can come from the off-licenses side, but what I'm asking is, do you think that the brewery will see that niche in the market, that off-licenses will no longer be able to offer these multi-pack discounts? So therefore, they're going to have to bring out packs, and they're going to go, like, they can't mix and match breweries. Well, I suppose they could, like, you know, as in, say, the likes of what Beer Cloud and stuff are doing, like, they're kind of doing that at the moment, those huge kind of mix packs. But say like what Metal Man did at Christmas time there, where they had that 8-pack of mixed beers out. Do you think like they'll do that now as the norm?
Oh, so you mean like just charge?
Say like what Brewdog does, you know, where the Brewdog has like
just do the mix pack but charge full price. Is that what you're saying? Like,
well, not even charge full price, but maybe charge like a discounted price, like.
Oh, so the brewer will discount the off license. So
but they're obviously selling like more beer. Do you know, like they're.
It makes sense to a certain degree, but the other side of it too is like, I don't know what the margins are like for these independent breweries. Like, you know, as in, it always strikes me what Barry from Kildare Brewing Company said to the Irish Beer Snob podcast, was like, you know, by trying to do too much and stretching themselves too thin, they could they'd struggle to make ends meet. Like they'd be trying to run before they walk. And it's something as well that Metal Man actually said when they opened up the Metal Man bar on the quays of Waterford, that between trying to run the brewery and run the bar, they were over complicating it. I think some breweries seem to have the resources, like the people in place and the employees in place, like Yellow Belly do, where they do have like a strong marketing and sales team. Like they have Danny there and doing an awful lot of good stuff. So I think like it's possible that it will happen. I think some breweries will try it and see if it's successful, and then if it is, I think the rest will follow. But I think other ones will just back their quality and sell local and try and sell local and sell through somewhere like Beer Cloud as well, but just like back their quality will get them enough sales to keep the business viable, I'd say.
Good answer, thanks. I just wanted to get your thoughts on that.
Fair enough. But yeah, actually, you told us on what you've moved on to. Ian, have you moved on to anything else, or are you still nursing that pastry stout?
At the moment, I'm drinking Galway Bay Brewery Full Sail IPA 5.8%, and it's actually fucking lovely.
I had that actually before we came on.
I was
another stubby can. Lovely.
I was on bottles of that all Christmas Day because my brother-in-law Rory was who runs Powers Tash Pub in Uachtarard. I've mentioned it in the podcast a few times. Shout out to Rory, who actually he supports an awful lot of independent brewers. But he basically had a load of Galway Bay bottles, the large bottles that you get in the pubs. He had a load of them that were going out of date at the end of January, and not knowing whether he could open or not at Christmas time there, he just had a couple of crates of them at the house, and I just spent Christmas Day trying to do my best to get value for his money. And I made a good
8%, I'd say. I had a few fucking...
Oh man, I was I'll put it this way, you. We had a game. We were playing charades that night, and I wasn't great. I know I wasn't great, and the poor kids were involved as well. Like, so they got to see some questionable impressions. But yeah, I think we were talking like we were trying to figure out the best way to approach the next topic, because we kind of know what we want to talk about, but what's the best way to structure it, I suppose. And the way I think we might do it is we're looking at, so like Owen, we've both had our first vaccine dose. In fact, by the time this comes out, we'll be just about due our second one. Ian, you're still waiting at the moment, and we're thinking about, right, if people are being vaccinated, if we can manage to suppress transmission of the virus and manage to get Ireland opened up internally, like we spoke to Keith Daniels who was on the podcast previously on about the alternative musical festival that happens in Waterford every year. So we spoke to Keith last week, and he was asking us, because he runs a food truck, Chingon Badass Burritos, a Tex-Mex food truck in Waterford as well. We were asking Keith was asking us what did we think about the possibility of a festival happening this year, for example, and he was kind of saying, All Together Now was the music festival in Waterford on the August Bank Holiday weekend, and he was saying, right, vaccines have started. Is there a chance that we'll have All Together Now in August to look forward to? And I suppose for him, from a business point of view, that would be a big weekend for his year if it went ahead. So I suppose what I'm going to say is, what's your favorite event to drink at? It's like, I say the word event very loosely, like go wherever you want with it, but what's your favorite setting, event, location to drink at?
It's such a tough one. Like, I think I do love. I think probably my favorite is when you go on a holiday with a group, and there's that kind of let's all get cans. Like, there's that, or let's all, like, it's that setting where like everybody's in on it, and it's like new adventure time. And it might necessarily even be like, let's all go to a pub or anything. It might be, let's go to a supermarket and get a big load of bottles or something, and let's drink together. I just I don't know, it's that kind of like excitement of a new place, like, and I think that could be one of my favorite places. And then also festivals as well. Yeah, like I have to agree with Keith there. Like, as in, there's see, even this has to be subclassified, because there's tent cans, there's like at the concert cans, there's strolling cans, and there's the cans then afterwards that like you bring. So like, I know for Electric Picnic, and actually for All Together Now as well, they're allowed to bring your own cans into the arena. But Electric Picnic, it has this kind of like special time between midnight and 4 a.m. that you're able to bring your cans into the main arena. So there's like this lovely time where Body and Soul there, like they'd have a few gigs on, and they're able to go back to your tent, get cans, put them into a backpack, go down to Body and Soul, sit on the hill in Body and Soul, and just like sip away on cans. Like, so yeah. Look, I could go on. I keep thinking of new events as well, like, but I'll probably start taking some of your ones. So yeah, I'll flick it on to Ian there. What do you think, man?
Favorite cans, jeez, our favorite drinks in general. I like the what you said with the holiday cans, where like you get up in the morning, you might go to the pool or the beach.
So yeah, that was my next one there. I was like literally thinking of DJ Stag there, of like just waking up and like just straight on it, like, and that's such a good feeling. Like, it's pure devilment, isn't it? You're just like, oh fuck, I shouldn't be doing this, but I definitely should be doing this.
I'm on fucking holiday, something like that. Yeah. Like I've gone to a few games now, like a few Premier League games. Like I've gone to a few West Ham games, a few Liverpool games. I always think, like when you get up that morning as well, and you're like, fuck, we're going to a game, so I get a point, and then you get a point, and then you get a point walk into the stadium, and you might get a point outside the stadium, so it's just like fucking. So it's sure, like, it's just like if you're up for the match, it's like,
that is
give me all the points.
That's so good. DJ, actually, do you remember we had a match that we were going to? What was it? It was a West Ham game, wasn't it? But we were trying to find what pubs opened the earliest.
Oh yeah,
that was in London, wasn't it?
Well, that was
the one that Mark Noble had to fight a fan.
Well, I'm not sure. We had a weekend where we managed to get 3 Premier League games in one weekend.
Yeah.
it was a crazy weekend, and yeah, I think it was West Ham and Man City. Man City won 4-1.
Yeah.
And we managed. Ian, you got us the tickets, and they were like in the like ultras section, the West Ham ultras section, and we just wanted to see a good game of football. So like anytime De Bruyne got the ball, we were like, what? And Declan Rice hadn't declared for England yet, I think, so we were like calling him Decky as if we knew him the whole time. And we were convincing like people around us that Ian's actually wearing a Declan Rice jersey. But we were trying to convince people we were related to him around us, and we were like his best friends from home, even though he was born and raised in London.
Well, I remember waking up that morning and we were like lying in bed.
Related to your
yeah, we're related to him through marriage. Actually, that is true, but that's like it's a stretch of relation. But yeah, one you're talking about like that kind of like it's 9:30 in the morning and we're going to a match at 12 o'clock kickoff. Like, how do we get a point?
Yeah, because I think we rocked up to like one pub and like it was shutters down. Like we were like, "What is this?" And then yeah, I think it ended up being your old favorite Weatherspoons that saved the day.
So the funny thing about that was we actually were in London that weekend. We managed to end up staying in a really, really posh part of London in a really nice hotel.
Chelsea, was it?
Yeah, we were in like South Kensington.
Yeah.
So obviously none of the pubs around there were open.
Yeah.
There was no early houses around there. It was all just people going to yoga and stuff. But yeah, I think the match day, like another time on, remember we were in Liverpool and we were going to a 12 o'clock kickoff, and obviously Anfield is outside Liverpool City, and like we managed to somehow do 2 or 3 pubs on the way to the match really early. The scrambling to find somewhere that did a decent breakfast. That's Shiraz's place actually that we had breakfast in. That was top notch, top quality breakfast.
Right, I think the match points, like it doesn't happen often, so when it does, you're just like, what the hell, this is unbelievable.
So I was going to say, and actually I'm glad you brought up my stag home, because it actually is the last time I was on an airplane, was going to and from my stag. But one of my favorite parts about the entire experience weekend was we were the first at the airport, and we got this table. 4 days
before we were leaving.
Yeah, we got this table at the airport bar in Dublin Airport, the upstairs one, and I absolutely loved sitting, having the pints and the chat, and just seeing the group like organically grow and evolve as more people arrived in the build-up, and just seeing that mix. So those kind of like points where it was like everyone was there, I knew everyone, not everyone knew each other, and just seeing like being really curious as to the different people that were mingling with each other from different, that I knew from different like kind of walks of life, and seeing, oh gee, like I wouldn't have put those two together and they end up fucking getting on famously for the weekend and this kind of thing, you know. That was really good. I think as well, like one of my absolute favorite settings to have a pint in is at a concert where it's like a sit down concert, you know, like an acoustic gig or something like that. Like one of my favorite kind of sessions and one of my favorite nights out that we've had on was when we went to see Christy Moore live in Vicar Street, which we got the tickets for that like really short notice. We were going up to see the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and they all had like mono or laryngitis or something. Yes.
Yeah. COVID 2017.
Flea was patient zero. And then we like, yeah, in like 2016 or 2017. The gig was cancelled and we had a hotel room booked and a few days booked off work anyway. So we decided, fuck it, we're going to go up to Dublin. And on the motorway on the way up, you were Googling like what's on in Dublin tonight. And we like found out Christy Moore was playing live in Vicar Street. And we scrambled for tickets, like drove to the other side. Like on our way up to Dublin, we went around to the other side of Dublin from where we were staying to pick up tickets off some fella, picked them up, and like just we had both been to Christy Moore concerts before. So I love when you're at something and you have the nous and the nuance of how it's going to play out. So you play a blinder. And what I loved about this was we knew that once Christy comes on stage and starts singing, you can't go out and buy any pints and bring them in.
Yeah.
And we knew this because we had both been to Christy Moore concerts before. So we ordered 6 pints each just before we went in. And we came in, and because we bought the 2 tickets off this one guy who I think he had like a table of 4 seats, and his brother was coming home with his missus or something, and the brother missed the flight or something happened anyway. We benefited for 2 tickets, and he sold the other 2 tickets to these other 2 guys who didn't realize this, and both had like a quarter of a pint left each coming in. So they came to this small table where we had 6 pints each, like filled
taking over the whole table.
And they had a quarter of a pint each, and they kind of were looking at us as the concert was about to start, saying, "What are these idiots doing with their 6 pints each on the table?" And as one of them went out to get a pint, and it dawned on them that they couldn't bring any more else. I loved enjoying those pints and getting progressively drunker through the concert, and just seeing the absolute longing stares of the lads sitting at the table with us towards our pints. And you know what? The thing is, I would have offered them one each. But the thing then is they'll look for the second one then after that. And then all of a sudden your 6 pints are down to 4.
Yeah.
And like, you know what? Like Christy plays for a good two and a bit hours, you know.
Straight, flat out, yeah.
Yeah. There's no break or anything. So and the thing with that as well, I love that setting at a concert when you're sitting down drinking a pint, and it's a concert and you don't want to get up and go to the jacks. You don't want to get up and miss anything, especially a performer like Christy Moore, who's so captivating in the performance, that you're sculling the drinks. So like the 6 pints was like, we got through. We were hanging for a pint by the end of it.
Yeah.
So I love those nice concert pints.
Yeah, right. Okay, so we have a few different events there now, right? So let's pick out what's your favorite drink to have at each of those events, because I'm betting you're not going to be drinking the same at each of those. Like, so let's take what we take first. We'll take holiday morning pints first. What are we having?
In the morning,
it has to be cheap local beer.
Yeah, no, you're dead right.
Cheap local beer.
Yeah. What was that one in Portugal? It was like Les Cafe or something. Sagres. Yeah.
Remember, I got the Sagres stout actually in that fucking the bar where they had Michael Jackson statue outside.
Yeah.
In Craven College. Oh my god, that Sagres stout was absolutely disgusting.
No, but you're dead right. That's exactly what you want. You just want something, because like it's not too you actually don't want something too flavorsome or anything like that. You just want something that's just going to get you going for the day. Like, yeah.
Oh yeah.
You just want to hear the dog, like you just want to get a pint into you, and that kind
4 or 5.
Yeah, that crisp cold lager, that's probably like 3.8% or something like that. You know,
ideal.
Yeah, that kind of crisp cold lager, and then you just want a bit of food to get into and get going.
And then the cocktails.
Yeah. So that was my order every morning on the stag. It was
and actually, I think you could probably extend that to like the holidays in general, kind of thing, can't you? Like, you know, you're not going.
Yeah.
You know, maybe you might throw a few cocktails and stuff in here and there into it, like, but mainly you're just going for that. You know, what's going to sustain you for the day, like, and not kill you.
It was ideal. Like, I thought I played a blinder on the old breakfast there, because I was getting Sagres and mojito and a full English for my breakfast. So I was getting the fat on board and the food and sustenance. I was getting the sugar from the mojito, and with the mojito and the pint, I was getting the hair of the dog as well. And that was after running down and throwing the head into the pool to clear it as well.
Right. So what about a match then?
Okay, so with a match, I think with a match again, it is either a lager or a Guinness, depending on the match and the time of day. But if the earlier in the day, the more likely it's going to be a lager. An evening match, a late kickoff, you could go with a Guinness, but as well, like, the choice of drink also influences the choice of pie. So if you're going for a pint and a pie, you need to match your pint up with your pie. So
like steak and kidney, you're going for a Guinness, is it?
Oh yeah. Whereas like the potato meat pie,
curry chicken pie.
Yeah. That's pure lager. Yeah.
That's a lager. Like, that's whatever lager sponsors the team.
Another thing for the match pints, you have to drink something you like as well, because you're going to be sipping away for like a few hours, and you don't want to be like sculling it either, because you actually want to be able to see the match and stuff. So
you're also limited by what they serve in the stadium. So like you obviously don't want to go too far. Like, you know, say if you're drinking beforehand, you don't want to go too far from that. Like, you know, so like say whatever Carlsberg, whatever fuck they're selling in the stadium or whatever. Like, you know, you don't want to go too left field from that, like, because you'll be sick. Like, you want to stay on board. Like, that's a good one. So actually, I was thinking there, DJ, you were saying kind of like that airport pint there, but actually what you described there was actually more of a stag pint, because normally like your airport pint is more kind of relaxing, like watching the world go by, waiting for the, you know, you're not normally in a big group with lads and stuff like at an airport. Like, you know, it's normally you know, kind of waiting for a flight and stuff, and kind of so like my normal one for an airport would be a pint of Guinness, like, you know.
Oh yeah. Like if you're flying somewhere yourself, or if it's just you and the missus, like it's a pint of Guinness.
Yeah,
but like
I love that as well. Like it's because it's such a sipper as well, that you actually get to watch everyone around the bar and see what they're doing when they're heading off, and the panic of people and stuff heading off. Like, I'm after missing the flight.
Of all the places in the world to people watch, the airport is
number one. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I'm like one of the most laid back people in the world at an airport. Like, it drives me mad when we're going anywhere. Like, we'll be the last people on the plane.
Yeah.
Like, we'll be arriving at the gate as the last person is going through the door. And I'll saunter along with my boarding pass and stroll in. And Owen, you're quite the same. Like, anytime we used to travel anywhere, we work together. Back when you would be flying around the place, like the two of us would be sipping a pint, and they'd be like calling last call, and we'd be like, Asher, we'll tip on in. So
yeah, no, but Asher, you know, like, you know, once you've done it a few times, the crack, like, so I think the main thing though is to actually, the ideal spot to get a pint is looking at your gate. If they ever have like a bar near the gate, like, that's fucking class.
But I was going to say, like, of all the places in the world to people watch, an airport is the absolute best place.
Yeah, it's so good.
100%,
yeah. So what else did we say? Concert, or no, festival. I said festival. What are we thinking about festival?
Like, you're on the cans of the festival because the pints come in these like plastic fucking glasses that are so you're always on the cans of the festival. And
it's kind of like college, like, isn't it? It's kind of the college drinking setting, like your own like pre-drink when you're going out in college. Like, oh geez, what's the best cans I can get? That's
I go a bit so I definitely go for kind of the same like those kind of like cans of whatever. I remember Oxygen 2008, I got 24 cans of Foster's. That was absolutely horrendous.
We had the crates of Canadian the last time around, didn't we?
Oh yeah, Canadian's kind of gone off the scene altogether, has it?
Yeah, I haven't seen that much.
Nah. But yeah, something along those lines you'd be drinking. But then when I actually go into the arena, then I just get notions. Like, I go all over the place. Like, it's the same with the food stalls in the festival. Like, you know, if there's multiple food stalls there, like, I'm not having the same thing twice. Like, I'm going around, like, I'm trying everything that's there, because I don't want to miss out. You only have 3 days at your festival, so don't want to miss out. It's the same thing with the drink. Like, you know, if there's like a gin and tonic stall, I'll get a gin and tonic. If there's like a whiskey bar, I'll go to the whiskey bar and I'll get like some sort of like whiskey cocktail or something there. What's the one at Electric Picnic? The one, the rum, the Casa Picardia.
Yeah.
I go there, get something off them. Then you get like pints. There's always like a little craft beer tent, and then you just be tipping away on the Heineken or whoever is the kind of main sponsor as well on it. Like, so, I'm not sure if there's an ideal festival drink. I think it is that kind of like sense of exploration where
convenience when at the start.
Yeah, what's the fucking nearest drink I can get as well? Yeah, that's totally it as well.
I have a take on the ideal festival drink. but hold on a second, I need to sneeze. No, I have a take on the ideal festival drink, and it's the kind of thing though, like you're not going to be able to access slabs of it, but like a tip tango or a teeny tiny one, those cans now, if you were able to get a slab of them for a festival, that like, imagine having a can of teeny tiny before having a breakfast roll, and then having a coffee, and then another can of teeny tiny, and then moseying your way into the arena with a few cans tucked in your wellies.
Yeah. Also, as well, like it used to be a thing as well of like, what can survive the heat the best? You know, what can is going to, what can is palatable at 20 degrees Celsius? You know, so
and Hunger Games.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I remember one year I did a tactic of I brought a box of red wine with me because I was like, oh sure, red wine will be okay at kind of like warmer temperatures. It wasn't.
Maybe it's just the fact that you were drinking a box of red wine.
I know. Chateau cardboard. But no, it's good. All right. Anyway, what was our last one then? We had one more. Concert drinks. So
you're kind of limited at concerts, though, aren't you? Because whoever
you are, you are, because
it's the same as a festival really, because it tends to be the same kind of sponsors for the main arenas.
Yeah, but it's you've less of a choice because, like, say, like Bacardi will have a tent, and like some fucking gin and tonic place will have a tent, and you know, you might have a craft beer tent, and then you'll have Heineken will have like 6, 7, 8 different stalls or whatever. But yeah, no, for like say the Tree Arena or whatever, you're just limited to what the Tree Arena sells, which is just going to be Diageo or whatever, like, you know.
One of the coolest places I've seen a concert, and actually there was some really, really good craft beers for sale there that night, was the milk place in Limerick. It's in Limerick City. The milk, it's not the milk factory, the milk something anyway in Limerick. I'll look it up. But that's a really that's a really cool place to go and see a gig. And it's they sell some good the milk market. They sell some good they were selling some good beers there at the time I was there, and they had like a really cool barbecue set up and everything as well, and a good place to go to a gig, and a good place to have a few drinks as well at a gig. But I think like when you go to like the bigger concerts in like the Tree Arena or go to a stadium or even like the Marquee in Cork or one of these kind of bigger concert things, like it's just a Heineken tent or something like that, isn't it? Like, and they kind of have the rights.
Yeah. They might have like wine as well, wine or something as well, but and I don't really have a good choice. You just drink forgiven really. Yeah,
I remember at so this actually going back to the festivals, but I remember all together now the festival there out in Curramore and Waterford, that they had like some like craft brewer. I can't remember if it was a Metal Man or whoever it was, but they had brewed like, you know, an all together now brew like for the festival. It was like ATN brew, and like I thought that was pretty cool, like that you know, like kind of like honed into that market, like. So but definitely for concerts, like that sit down concert that we had with Christy Moore, like the pints of Guinness were absolutely like ideal for that, like, and like should just be sipping away, like, you know. So yeah, it definitely does depend on the concert, but no, I think that's I think we've probably covered all bases. I was trying to think, was there any other events like that I really love, but I think weddings. Oh Jesus. Weddings are fucking
drinking a morning pint.
Yeah. But yeah, sure, you lose the head altogether at weddings, don't you? Like
I was at
throwing whiskeys and everything into the scene, like.
I keep thinking.
Oh, everything.
Yeah.
I keep thinking last year was 2019. I was at a wedding in Clarny there in 2019, summer 2019, and they had Clarny Brewing Company on tap, and it was the same price as all the other beers, and their lager was lovely, and I just like absolutely tucked into that for the day. Was really, really good. And they actually had because again, one of my other brother-in-laws is celiac. They had Nine White Deer there as well. He just tucked into that for the day, and the two of us were happy out sitting at the bar drinking our snobby craft beers at a wedding for the day, and it was sessionable beer as well, so it was great. Like, and
that's unreal. Yeah.
But the thing about weddings, so is like you go to the bar there at 11:30, and you could meet fucking 5 or 6 people, and like you'd have a drink with each one, but they could all be drinking different fucking things. So you're putting 6 or 7 different drinks into yourself in the space of half an hour.
And you're dead right though. Like people talking into drinks as well. Like, sure, you'll have a shot of whatever with me, or you know, you'll have a vodka and white with me. What are you on about? Like,
as our youngest brother is pretty famous for getting the Jaeger bombs out very, very early at weddings.
Yeah.
Not a good idea.
It doesn't even have to be a wedding. It could be just a fucking
it could be just a Tuesday morning.
Sunday lunch.
And actually, our owl lad at my wedding brought around the baby Guinnesses fairly early as well, didn't he? Like, you know, so.
Yeah, they're very. It's a very smooth drink, isn't it, baby Guinness?
Yeah. Well, you two guys are getting married this year, so we'll have some good wedding stories hopefully to come on the podcast by the end of the year.
Hopefully.
Hopefully we'll be able to go and have the session. That was a fairly good chat there. We got through an awful lot. A good old session. Plenty of cans, like, you know, 6 or 7 cans featured on the podcast tonight. Many of them from different brewers. Like that's what it's all about at the moment. It's supporting the independent brewers and the cans. They need your support more now than ever, because even the fucking legislation is trying to squeeze them out. So if you have the few pound to buy a couple of cans from your local independent brewer, please do. And give us a follow on the Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We're at Snowcast on all of them. No one else was stupid enough to name something Snowcast. And give us a like. And what I want you to do, listener, this week is get in touch with us and let us know your favorite scenarios to drink a pint in. Your point, if there's any points that you like in certain settings that we've discussed this evening, or if you vehemently disagree with our takes on Public Health Alcohol Act of 2018, get in touch and let us know. We love it when you get in touch with us and speak to us. We got some good podcasts lined up for the next couple of weeks. Some good guests coming up. And we're talking to a couple of other podcasts about some crossovers once we can go to the pubs again. Some good stuff coming down the line. Thanks for your support. Thanks to our patrons for the few pound. We've invested it now in some well overdue microphones are coming our way on. So hopefully we'll be at the same pitch and same level from next week onwards. And just want to say, Sláinte, everyone, have a good week. Drink local cans and tag us in your pictures on social media. We want to see them. Slán.
See you lads. Good luck.
Good luck.